We hope you've enjoyed I Never Sang for My Father. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the movie on 29 stars Peter Sellers and Goldie Hawn in There's a Girl in My Soup. Right now, stay tuned for independent network news. Next on WTAF TV29, Philadelphia.
Independent Network News brought to you by General Foods Grape Nuts.
Good evening. Fires believed to have been set by arsonists and fanned by strong winds continue to burn out of control in Southern California tonight. Thousands of stunned residents are homeless. We have a report from Bob Fuss.
For the second straight day, Santa Ana winds are blowing up to 70 miles an hour, pushing more than half a dozen major brush fires that have already claimed 4 lives and burned more than 250 homes. The deaths came in San Bernardino, where the worst fire ripped through neighborhoods in the northern edge of the city, sending thousands fleeing for their lives. The fires began in the hills and burned both down to the suburbs and up to the mountains to threaten resort towns. Firefighters have been able to get a handle on one fire in the Malibu Canyon area of Los Angeles, but as for the others, the erratic wind is too strong, and firefighters are losing the battle.
Well, the wind is blowing anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour in the mountain regions. It's a little bit less than that down closer to the flatlands or to the coast in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. When the winds get too strong, the 40 to 60 mile an hour range, we cannot use air tankers or helicopters because the machines just simply cannot fly under those conditions.
I went home and I only had enough time to take my important papers out. And then I wanted to go back and get some clothes, but it was too late.
More than 15,000 people were forced to evacuate in the face of the erratic fires, which have destroyed nearly 500 homes. 7 fires in the Los Angeles area have consumed over 42,000 acres of land so far, and firefighters are not even guessing when they might get those flames under control. 2 of the 4 dead were elderly, found burned to death just outside their home. 2 victims died of heart failure. 400 people were injured, but few of them were hospitalized. A state of emergency was called for San Bernardino County, and so far damages are estimated at over $45 million.
It's now estimated that more than 3,000 people have been killed by Sunday's devastating earthquake that ripped through southern Italy. Today, Pope John Paul made the first papal visit to a disaster area since 1943. He stopped at 2 hospitals and paid a visit to a village where as many as 100 people died when a Roman Catholic church collapsed. Your Holiness, asked the sister of the parish priest, they ask if the quake is all the fault of our church. Placing his white-robed arm around her, John Paul shook his head no several times. In Potenza, another strong tremor caused more damage just 4 hours after the Pope was there.
And the death toll from Sunday's terrible earthquake is still rising as rescue teams poke into piles of rubble. We have a late report from the scene from Mike McKay.
Until Sunday night, the mountain town of Sant'Angelo was the kind of idyllic retreat that holiday guides boast about. Today, it sprawls in an undignified heap, its peace shattered first by an earthquake and now by the relief workers' bulldozers. Even reaching such a remote town with so much heavy equipment has been a major operation for the army and the police. As they work to recover more victims and clear the rubble, the town overflows with grieving relatives, more volunteers, and lorries loaded with emergency rations. The surviving townspeople draw together to share their loss. Many of the dead were patients in the new hospital, where 2 wings of the building simply collapsed into a kind of sandwich. The waiting relatives cherish little hope, and the parents of some 50 or 60 young people trapped in the local disco, or what's left of it, are equally distressed. But the relief teams do not give up. Today, they heard the voice of a young woman calling to them from the debris. Robbed of their homes and their possessions, what people most need are tents, blankets, and non-perishable food. Many of those who have lost members of their family stand for hours, simply staring at the ruins of their homes. Officials now count the dead in thousands. Sant'Angelo accounts for nearly 1,000 of those. Those who've given up hope of finding relatives alive busy themselves searching for personal effects, a book or a garment by which to remember a lost son or daughter. Even those who have some kind of home left choose to camp out at night, fearing the possibility of another disaster. This has been a day when the human scale of the earthquake has become much clearer. Here, for example, stood a block of flats housing up to 25 families. Already today, nearly 100 dead have been brought out, and it's evident that the rescuers still have a long way to go before their work is finished.
Still to come, Ronald Reagan planning to end energy price controls, while the latest inflation report shows all prices except energy soaring.
Also coming, a report the Trident submarine program is over budget and behind schedule, while the long-delayed space shuttle finally...